What is going on, everybody? It is I, the franchise, one half of the World Club Wrestling Podcast, coming to y'all today. I am in the studio, the newly renovated studio. I'm not showing y'all the exact how it looks. I'm actually from the behind the camera scene. I'm actually in the production side of the studio. Just because came in today because I wanted to check it out, see how it looked. Because I was notified that we're good to go. So I came in, checked it out. It's beautiful. I can't wait to show y'all our new setup, our new getup. So I wanted to come on here to give y'all my first impressions of the Triple H era, the Paul Levesque era, since he has taken over as head of creative for the WWE. So that's what I'll be discussing today. I'm also going to talk a little bit about AEW because, since Triple H is now the head of that, a lot of rumbling has surfaced with one Tony Khan and recent events and things like that happened. I'm also going to talk a little bit about SummerSlam because SummerSlam was roughly about 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to give y'all my take on that. As y'all know how I do my reviews or when I do my recaps on premium live events, I like to talk about my favorite match, favorite moment, least favorite match. So let's jump right into that right now, shall we? My thoughts on SummerSlam alone, I feel though as if this year's SummerSlam was better than WrestleMania. I know a lot of people around the wrestling community were echoing the same sentiment, was saying the same things. I can rest assure you, nobody feels as if the WrestleMania Night 2 main event is better than SummerSlam's main event. I can assure you that much. I guarantee you, because we were not expecting for the match to end so quick at WrestleMania the way it did, and the fashion in which it ended. We all know that apparently, well, I can't say apparently, but Brock Lesnar, I won't say injured Roman, but Roman did sustain an injury there, and that's why they kind of had to speed up the match, and it was shorter, and probably because of length of time as well. But this match at SummerSlam, hands down, better, and was my match of the night. If you had to end the Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns story, this was the way to end it. Last man standing. Was not what I expected. For y'all that watched the preview show, I stated that I felt though as if I would have wanted to see Roman go into this savage mode, completely annihilate Brock Lesnar, even like possibly show blood, like make Brock bleed. That's how much I was invested in seeing this side of Roman, especially because of Paul Heyman emphasizing that we're going to see this side of Roman Reigns that we've never seen before. I thought that we would see more of like a wild Samoan in him, but we didn't get that. But it doesn't matter to me. It still was a great match. Brock Lesnar coming out with the forklift, arguably one of the. It was up there with Stone Cold when Stone Cold comes out in the beer trucks and things like that. But to have that in there and to utilize the forklift the way he did, from making his entrance, from standing on top of the forklift, the mouth of the forklift, to diving off the forklift, to putting Roman in the mouth of the forklift, dumping him out, and then obviously the moment of the night, or the moment of the main event, Brock Lesnar taking said forklift and lifting the ring up. You see the footage right here. You see how the ring is up. Arguably, best moment But we did see a side, and a lot of people was kind of like, yo, like, Brock should have won. Some people thought Brock should have won. I look at it like this. Ever since Brock came to the WWE, Brock has always been this indestructible Michael Myers type of person. I remember when he first came out, and I remember when him and the Hardys had a little thing going on when he first showed up. And Brock got hit with a chair multiple times by Matt and Jeff, and he never fell. He stood, he stayed on his feet, got hit, went out the ring, but still stayed on his feet. They emphasize that. Like, he never went down. He never went down. And then you look at, for example, SummerSlam, and Brock would not stay down. So much so that Michael Cole is screaming, like, Brock, just stay down. Ref, count faster. Like, those moments right there is what makes Brock Lesnar. But then to see how they was like, you know what, this is the only way we can get him is if we just pile up rubble. Just pile up debris. Pile everything on top of this man so he does not get up. And obviously you see the shot right here, the infamous shot. I guarantee you WWE Shop is going to have this shot framed as a monumental picture that they'll have, because they do that with some of the photos that they have. They put them on a frame and all the information about the event. So don't be surprised with that. This photo is going to be on WWE Shop. So watching this, seeing how dominant, both these people were, it wasn't one-sided, But the one thing that I did like about this match was actually the end. After the cameras went off for us that was watching it on Peacock. Because we eventually seen footage of Brock Lesnar re-entering the ring as the ring is still up in the air. And Brock gets back in the ring. You see the footage right here. Brock's getting back in the ring, and he's acknowledging the crowd, letting the crowd know that he's fine, thumbs up, things like that. It's moments like this that make me enjoy and love this business, because growing up, I seen larger-than-life people. I remember, going to the convention center, the Niagara Falls Convention Center, years ago, when I was a kid, and seeing Undertaker for the first time. Surreal. Like, just this figure, this, I want to say godly-like figure, but this just, his aura, his presence, it was superhuman. So to see these larger-than-life characters, and we see them kind of normalized. And that's what Brock Lesnar has done this run. He has shown a human side to himself. Granted, he still is this beast and is very much comes off as a psychopath. But when you see moments like this where he is giving a thumbs up. I remember when he won the title, and that infamous shot of the fan with his phone, and Brock was behind him and did a little fist like this, but was so hype. Fans get to be like, yo, like, Brock's normal, Brock's human, and that's what I love to see. And seeing Brock like normalized, and seeing Brock during this run, even though I've been kind of going back and forth, being a fickle fan that we are. It was good to see Brock in this space. So definitely, this was a moment that I really liked as well. Also, I liked when they when he lifted the ring up. Well, if you listen to Corey Graves' podcast After the Bell, he made reference to what he did. Like I damn near jumped in the crowd and was sitting on Kid Rock's lap, just because of what he did. My second favorite match, because I had two, was the tag team title match between the Usos and the Street Profits. Now, I know on my preview show, I hinted of the possibility of the Street Profits breaking up. Montez Ford turning heel. I was one of those people that was very adamant on Montez turning heel. I don't feel that way anymore. Do I think Montez will be a great heel? Absolutely. I do. However, I think this is what should be done if you're going to break the Street Profits up. I have two propositions, two ideas. The first one, we've all been in relationships where something happens in that relationship that changes everything. It changes the landscape. It changes how we view people. We view the relationship. This picture right here is taken right. This shot was right after the Usos won and they showed the Street Profits. That look right there on Montez Ford's face says it all. He's frustrated. What more can I do? What more can we do? That look right there could be the beginning of the end of the Street Profits in this aspect. We seen on Monday, the file that Monday after SummerSlam, they did a game of rock, paper, scissors. And we seen what happened. They went to do it. Montez grabs the ref, runs in the ring. They don't even find out who was winning. It was just, Montez was like, I'm taking it. Seeing that match, great match between the two of them. Seth Rollins wins. This Monday, you didn't see that. You didn't see rock, paper, scissors. Because now Angelo Dawkins is like, I'm going to take on him. Angelo Dawkins put on a show. He showed out on this match. But eventually, he lost. But during that match, Montez gets in the ring and almost gets Angelo Dawkins disqualified. You're starting to see a sense of frustration in Montez Ford. Even during SummerSlam, when he hit the frog splash and Uso kicked out, he got in Jeff Jarrett's face. And for whatever, like, I was watching it like, why is he getting in his face? I don't understand the meaning behind it. I don't understand why he did this. But he did. So now we're stuck with this ideal or this thought of, well, what's going to happen? I'm looking at it like Montez Ford is probably going to go to Angelo Dawkins and be like, I don't know what we can do. I'm frustrated. This keeps on going on. And just, it's that moment where it's like, we have to go our separate ways type of thing. That's one suggestion. The other suggestion is there's a draft coming up. And what other way to break a tag team up without having no one turn through the draft? We've seen it with the New Day. The most iconic one was the Dudley Boys. Do that. If you do that, they break up. They go their separate ways. They have their moment where they, slap each other up. Like, all right, man, it's been real. And they go their separate ways. A lot of people feel though as if whenever you have tag teams, there's someone that has to be the Marty Jannetty of the tag team. You're not getting that with the Street Profits. Angelo Dawkins is great in the ring. He's good on the mic. He's improved on the mic, and he's improved in the ring. Montez Ford, to me, the ultimate package. Great in ring, great on the mic, has the look, the charisma. He just oozes that energy. A lot of people compare him or say that he gives a lot of the Rock energy, the Rock vibe, and I completely agree with that. I even remember watching a video, even today, I was watching a video on E. It was on YouTube's channel. It was on the E YouTube channel, Entertainment Tonight. And they interviewed Bianca Belair. It was like a quick 2-minute video. Bianca Belair and Montez Ford was being interviewed. And they had mentioned, like, you have a lot of, like, you give a lot of Rock vibe, like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And he was like, he's a big fan. He looked up to The Rock. He used to watch The Rock all the time. Rock even is a fan of his. We know this because if you follow Rock on Instagram, he posted a photo of Montez and gave him praise. So Montez has it. He has it all. So I feel though as if you do it through the draft, we can get them out. We can get them going their separate ways. Montez Ford is a main eventer. Montez Ford is a champion. He is a heavyweight champion in the making. Matter of fact, over this past weekend, there was a live event. I seen it on TikTok, and somebody actually, if I can find the video on TikTok, it will pop up right here. If not, I'm just going to describe it to y'all. But either way, you're going to see the video and I'm going to talk about it, or you're just going to hear me talk about it, whatever. But in the video, you see a fan holding the heavyweight title. And as he's holding the heavyweight title, he's telling Montez Ford, one day, and hands him the belt. And Montez takes the belt and he's looking at it. And it's kind of like that fan is hyping him up like, yo, I can't wait to see this day. Like, one day you're going to have this title. And I feel the same way. One day Montez Ford will be heavyweight champion, universal champion, whatever champion you want to refer to it as, the heavyweight champion. Angelo Dawkins, he will be a great mid-card champion. Intercontinental title, United States title. He's perfect for that. He probably will compete for the heavyweight title once, maybe twice. But he is great mid-card. There's nothing wrong with being the great mid-card. I mean, look at Dolph Ziggler. I mean, I'm not going to put Miz in that category because he's not. But like Dolph, like I said, Dolph is the perfect example. He had title stints. He had heavyweight title stints. But he is mid-card. That's the man. If you want to kind of see where you stand in the ring, that's who you go to. You go to a Dolph Ziggler to see where how you go, because Dolph can go. Dolph can hang with the best of them. So, that's my second favorite match. That also, goes into my story about them breaking up. My best moment of SummerSlam was the return. It was the return of the role model. It was the return of Bayley. But Bayley didn't come by herself. We all know this by now. If you've been hiding under a rock, catch up. Bianca Belair and Becky had their match. After the match, Bayley comes out. Bayley makes her triumphant return. But Bayley doesn't come by herself. Bayley brings Dakota Kai, which she was released, I believe, in April. She was released earlier in the year. And she brings Skye, formerly known as Io Shirai, who, from my understanding and from a lot of the reports that us as wrestling fans have read, when her contract was going to end, she was going to leave. Go back home. She felt a little homesick. She didn't feel like she was being utilized. And she was going to leave. But, as they referred to him as Papa H, is in charge, and he's like, I got you. I got you. And now here we are. Dakota Kai, Skye, Bayley, they have come together. They formed a trio. Bayley actually went on Corey Graves' podcast and spoke on the relationship, how she pitched this idea before to Vince, and Vince kind of turned it down. But obviously now Triple H is there. Bayley is a product of Triple H. She's a product of the Papa H family. And she basically wanted to take underutilized talent and put them on this stage. And she's doing so with Dakota Kai and Skye. Obviously, these two are a tag team now. If you haven't seen Raw this past week, they did announce on SmackDown that there's a tournament to determine the new women's tag team. I'm going to get to that a little bit later. But obviously, Dakota Kai and Skye is in there. And Bayley, obviously, will be taking on Bianca Belair. But at SummerSlam, when they had the face-off, Becky Lynch came to Bianca's side because after that match, they showed their sign of respect. Bianca Belair has defeated Sasha, Bayley, Becky. The only one she has not beaten is Charlotte. But it's every last one that she's fought, with the exception of Bayley, they gave her respect. You know, we all remember WrestleMania when Bianca and Sasha main evented night one. And when Bianca won, how Sasha was outside the ring. They caught that footage. I loved that footage. I thank you to whoever took that footage and posted it on Twitter. But that shot of Sasha Banks near the barricade, smiling like she was emotional because she was so happy to see this. Not only the fact that they were headlining, main eventing WrestleMania night one, they were two black women main eventing night one, but she can be the one to bestow this belt on Bianca. First shot, couldn't get any bigger than that for her. So that happened, and then obviously on SummerSlam, Becky gave her credit. Becky showed her respect to her. You know, it was like, okay, you've earned my respect. You know, I know why they called you the EST. And Monday night, after SummerSlam, Becky came out looking like the man. The man Becky Lynch, not big time Bex. No, she went back to the man look, you know, with the just all black, no wild sunglasses, wild hair, just looking like how she looked when she was the man. Bianca came out. Bianca showed her respect. Becky gave Bianca the ring. Then we seen what happened. Becky attacked Bianca. I mean, not Becky. Bayley and her trio attacked Becky backstage, which is going to lead to Becky versus Bayley, which, if I'm correct, and if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments. Becky and Bayley never had a legit story on the main roster together. I know during NXT that didn't happen because obviously when Bayley won the title, Becky got called up with the other three. And then when she got on the main roster, I don't think they ever really crossed paths except for when Bayley officially turned heel and joined forces with Sasha. But I don't think they never played on that after she did it. So if I'm correct, this will be the first time that we actually see a Bayley-Becky Lynch story. which will be kind of dope. It will be nice to see, the role model versus the man. So I'm very interested to see how that plays itself out. So next up, let's talk about my least favorite event that happened, which, if we're going to be honest, it's not a match per se. Like, they were all okay. They were all good matches, but if I had to rank them, I'm not gonna rank them. But my least favorite match would be Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey. Before I get to why that was my least favorite match, even though that match did tell a good story, I want to talk about the one presentation that I didn't like, and that's the entrance. Entrance is too long. The walkway is too long. WrestleMania's entrances is always long too, but theirs is a straight path to the ring, a beeline to the ring. SummerSlam last year and this year had the same setup where it curved, like it hit a sharp turn. And Bayley talked about it. She said that when she came out, she had to come out and then she didn't see the ring until she turned that corner. And once she turned that corner, she seen the ring full line. It was like I seen one group of fans and then I turned and it was just like the whole entire crowd was just right there. And she seen the ring and Bianca and all that. So I feel like that entrance is too long, especially when Bayley came out. Like, we were excited, but then it was kind of like, okay, when is she getting in the ring? And then, when Dakota Kai came out and then Skye came out, it was kind of like, okay, like, if it was just a straight path, it'd be I would have loved it. I go back to when Brock came back last year. Roman didn't even see where Brock was. Like, Roman had to get on the turnbuckle to see where Brock Lesnar was. I think back to this year's SummerSlam in the Miz versus Logan Paul. That was an example that I first seen. I was like, this is too long. Because when Miz was getting in the ring, Logan Paul's music was playing. And Logan Paul was already making his way down the ring. It's too long. It's too much. It's too difficult of a entrance. Too long, too. If it's a straight path, wouldn't be that long, I think. So let's get back to the SmackDown women's title match between Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey. How do I explain my thoughts on this match? It was a good match. It told a good story. But the ending could have been better. If I'm doing this and I want to make Ronda a heel, like officially make her a heel, I would do something to this matter. I would not have it in the controversial, like she had her in the arm, she had her in that submission and her shoulders were on the mat and then the ref counted her shoulders, but Liv tapped after the second count, right before he got to 3. I would have had her do a small package, a roll-up, something, and she cheats. Like, she holds on to the tights. But even the ref doesn't see, like, the fans don't see it. It's one of those things where you don't see it until the replay is shown, and then you hear Michael Cole and Corey Graves being like, wait. She had a hand on the tights, and that's when Ronda's like, and then that's when we see Liv out there holding the belt, like, in pain, but then she smiles because she knew I got one up on her. Liv Morgan, at the time SmackDown was aired, was the champ for 34 days. And the crowd started to boo her. Boo her so much that Caleb Braxton, this tweet right here from Caleb Braxton was her speaking out about it. Because the Ace talked about it. The Ace on our Instagram page was on the stories and he mentioned like, Caleb looked pretty pissed. Kayla looked more mad than Liv. And Liv kind of, was like, hey, I can own up to my shit or whatever she said. But now it's making it seem though as if Liv is this, I don't want to refer to her as a heel, because she's not, because Ronda Rousey clearly is the heel, but Ronda Rousey is suspended. So in the meantime, Liv Morgan will be taking on Shayna Baszler at the Clash at the Castle. And let me tell y'all something. For the fans that have not paid or never watched NXT, because there are some wrestling fans that just strictly watch Raw and SmackDown and don't watch NXT. Take some time and go back and watch NXT when Shayna Baszler was there. The damage, the brutality, the torture that Shayna Baszler inflicted on these people, on these women, something we've never seen before. Not from a woman's perspective. Okay? If you recall, when she came up to the main roster and she was in the Elimination Chamber, it was Liv Morgan too, who she annihilated, like destroyed Liv Morgan. Think about that. And now she is under the creative control of Triple H. Oh, Liv Morgan might not get any offense at Clash at the Castle. She might get annihilated in ways that we've never seen a woman dominate a match like we're going to see Shayna versus Liv. And speaking of Shayna, and now that she is, in this title picture and Ronda Rousey is now a heel, what if we actually get something? Because Triple H has made it clear, I am trying to bring back as much talent that was released as possible. What if we finally get the one dream match we've been waiting for, that we've been looking forward to, which is the Horsewomen versus the Horsewomen? If Triple H can bring back the other two women of the Ronda Rousey Horsewomen to go up against the four Horsewomen of the WWE, NXT, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, and Bayley. I'm saying Sasha Banks because we all know the rumors have been confirmed to a degree that Sasha Banks and Naomi have agreed to come back. Okay? Get into that a little bit later. But, I'll get into that next. But what if that happened? I think the only catch that we will have is trying to see if Becky and Charlotte can be on the same team. But you can actually play off of that. You can have it where, Ronda's four horsewomen is running shop, wrecking shop, doing all this and the third. And then you have the four horsewomen of the WWE. You have Charlotte and them. But there's that tension between Charlotte and Becky. We know there's tension, real life tension. But then they play into that. And then we actually get a moment where maybe, let's just say, it's Charlotte who is resisting. Becky's kind of like, we got to work together. Charlotte's like, nah. Then we have that iconic moment where the horsewoman, Ronda Rousey and her crew, got the upper hand on the horsewoman of the WWE. Here comes Charlotte. Charlotte comes out. And then next thing you know, Charlotte and Becky embrace. And the four horsewomen is back. And it's the battle. Like, I remember seeing at the Mae Young Classic the stare down between these 8 women. And everybody wanted to see these 8 go at it. And I am all for it. I'm all for it. Seeing Charlotte, Sasha, Becky, Bayley against Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler. I think it's Sarah McDougal. Hold on. Bear with me. Because I'm going to find out these names right now. Ronda Rousey. Horsewoman. Okay, so it's Marina Schaefer, Jessamine Duke. Okay, so it's Marina Schaefer. I probably said her last name wrong. I apologize. And Jessica Menduke. Yes. Might have got that up. Might have butchered the name. I do apologize. Please don't try to kick my ass. But seeing those 4 against those 4, I'm all for it. Let's hope and pray that Triple H can pull that through. Speaking of bringing people back, as I just alluded to earlier, probably about a couple minutes ago, Sasha Banks and Naomi apparently have agreed to come back. Now, no word officially from the WWE, but I don't think that the WWE would officially make that statement. I don't even think they officially announced that they were released. I feel though as if it was more so like, well, yeah, they're not there anymore. They dropped the titles. They walked out. They're not there anymore, but we never got any word from the WWE, no press that came out from them stating that, Trinity, Anawati, and Mercedes, are no longer with the WWE. We wish them well in their future endeavors. We never got that statement. This is what I would say if this is true. And then I will play into a story. If Sasha Banks and Naomi is officially back, the first thing I think Triple H and Stephanie should have them do is address the locker room. I feel though as if they should address the locker room, not separately, but collectively. Because what they did shifted and changed the landscape of the locker room. Bayley even talked about it on the podcast, where Bayley was saying that she wants to show people, show the front office, show the bigwigs that we can do this and not have ego. Kind of was like a dig at them. I feel though as if also that if she did say this out loud in public, she probably told Sasha Banks this as well. Because if you follow her Instagram, she had thanked a lot of people for their support. Sasha Banks was definitely one of them. We know that their relationship is very close. So I feel though as if she probably did say to Sasha, like, yo, what is wrong with you? This is your second time doing this. Like, we did this, and now you did it with her. And Naomi Trinity is loved in the locker room. Like, the locker room loves Naomi. And you're hearing rumblings of, a lot of the locker room don't really rock with Sasha Banks. And then there's, these photos right here from the conference that happened in Chicago, I believe, over the weekend. Clearly, we see Naomi and Sasha Banks is there. We see that Sasha Banks has a new hairstyle. But then we also see these photos that surfaced. And these photos right here depict a mentality that has been circulating around the wrestling world of how Sasha Banks interacts with fans. Now, I can understand why fans will feel this way, why people will see this and be like, well, what the hell? But you also got to look at it like this. We're still in COVID. You know, we're still dealing with COVID. And now we're dealing with monkeypox. So if Sasha Banks is not comfortable, was not comfortable with people, she don't know these people. So if she's not comfortable with that, because, you know, I seen photos of Sasha Banks out and about, but she's with her friends and you see they're close. She don't know these people. She don't know these fans, you know. So, and you don't, you know, nowadays is people get, you know, if someone coughs, someone goes, everybody's looking like, wait, whoa, like coughing is not the norm. Like, seriously. Okay. I'm not going to go there because I can go. I can go. But we see that this is how she's, we see these photos right here. So what I would do is I would have her address the locker. I will have them address the locker room. And then what I would do is I will have a segment where they do come back and they address the fans, right? They address the fans. Then here's my story time. Here's my creative mind. Here's where if I'm in the creative room, this is what I'm doing. I then would have Naomi. They're out there. They say whatever they say. The crowd embraces. The crowd's cheering. The crowd's happy. All this stuff. Either while they're in the ring or if they're at the top of the entrance, Naomi proceeds to beat the dog shit out of Sasha Banks. I mean, we've never seen this side of Naomi ever. I mean, think about when the Undisputed Elite, when Adam Cole attacked the Young Bucks, and you remember that shot of that little kid crying. You need to see Naomi drag Sasha to the point that you are seeing kids crying because they cannot believe Naomi, out of all people, which will make this even better. Naomi, out of all people, turns. Because then it makes it even better when she does turn, because now Sasha has to get sympathy from the same people that she walked out on, which is us, the fans. The following week, let's say it's on a SmackDown, Naomi's cutting a promo, or Naomi's being interviewed by Kayla. Backstage, let's say. Or let's go in the ring because I want her to address it in the ring. So she goes in the ring and she's explaining and she's like, you know, I almost lost everything because of her. I almost lost everything. Everything I worked my ass off for, I almost lost. Right? Then, later that night, you see Naomi getting her stuff, getting ready to leave. Somebody comes up to her, asks her, you know, one of the backstage correspondents, goes back there, tries to have a conversation with her. All of a sudden, you hear a voice. You hear Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman says, "We got it from here." And he walks away with Naomi. And they go into Roman's locker room. Roman's office. And in the office, you see the Usos. You see her husband, Jimmy, and Roman. And they're sitting there and they're like, you know, it's about time. Welcome to the Bloodline. And we finally get Naomi with the Bloodline. Then you can insert Tamina in the Bloodline. Because Tamina has said she would love to be in the Bloodline. But it's all a matter of timing. What better timing than to have Naomi join the Bloodline? I even thought about this one because I seen it on TikTok and it didn't dawn on me. Because when they're talking about bringing all these people back. Nia Jax. What if Nia Jax returns and joins the Bloodline as well? So now what happens is, let's just say Nia joins, Tamina joins, Naomi joins. Tamina and Nia go for the tag team titles. Trinity, Naomi, gets the SmackDown Women's title. You still have an Uso in NXT who probably will be getting called up. Solo Sikoa. He gets called up. He wins the mid-card Intercontinental title. Now, if y'all thought y'all hated the Bloodline before, the entire Bloodline has all the gold. Legit. Except for the United States title. Okay? You got Roman with the Undisputed Universal Heavyweight title. You got the Usos with the unified Undisputed Tag Team titles. You got Naomi as the SmackDown Women's Champion. You got Tamina and Nia Jax as the Women's Tag Team Champions. And then you have Solo with the Intercontinental title. The ultimate faction. You could not tell me this will not be the greatest faction in wrestling history. This is like Heart Foundation times 1,000. Period. End of discussion. So, speaking of SmackDown, you've seen SmackDown this past Friday. Last Friday, not this, because this will probably be coming out on Friday. So I'm recording this on Wednesday. So, last Friday, we seen a return of one Karrion Kross. Made his return back to the WWE after being released, him and Scarlett. And the one thing I would say, the one flaw that I would say about his return was the way he returned. I loved him attacking Drew and destroying Drew and all this. But when Drew was making his way down the ring and was cutting his promo, right before Karrion's music hit, you see it's two fans that happen to look to their right. Okay? And they look to their right and they're like, what is going on? Because they're looking up the ramp. And then that's when the music hits. And then when they show, he turns around, you see Scarlett standing there. I would not have done that. I wouldn't have done that. Because something's going to happen. Someone is there. Someone's there. I wouldn't have done that. I would have had Karrion Kross blast him. Straight. Don't even play the music. Just come out, blast him. Nobody knows who the fuck this is, right? You're like, who is this? Who is this? Who is this? And then you see him pop up and he screams and you're like, oh my God, it's Karrion Kross. And then all of a sudden the music hits. And then Scarlett comes out. And Scarlett has the clock, the sand clock. And she puts it in the ring like she does. She turns it. And you start seeing the stand run. You see him go tick-tock, right? Love it. Absolutely loved it. Love the fact that my man is back. Arguably the second greatest entrance in wrestling history, next to The Undertaker. I'll take the Pepsi challenge with anybody. Name me an entrance that is better than Karrion Kross. That's not The Undertaker. If you can, please let me know in the comments, and I will, when me and the Ace get back together in this studio and do this and bring y'all back the Royal Club Wrestling Podcast for season 7, we will discuss that. Because that was one of the things that I did want to talk about, was the greatest like theme music, but I want to go to the greatest entrances ever. We got Undertaker, we got Karrion Kross, my top 3, Undertaker, Karrion Kross, Finn Balor as the Demon. Those 3 entrances are the greatest entrances in my opinion. I don't think there's another entrance. Now, there has been like special entrances. Like the all-time best special entrance was Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 12 when he was coming from the heavens, literally. I think that was probably the greatest WrestleMania entrance of all time. But I'm biased, Shawn Michaels is one of my favorites of all time, so I would say something like that. Obviously, Triple H, WrestleMania. More recently, Triple H's WrestleMania entrances have been, he's shown out. But I'm getting off subject. I am glad that Karrion Kross is back. Now, me and the Ace had this conversation the other day because we were talking and he's excited. He will get on here and he will tell you guys that he's all for Raw now. He's like, yo, love Raw. Love how it's going. I want to see a Raw before. Like, I was like, yo, I'll go to SmackDown. Like, I'll go to SmackDown before I go to Raw. That's always been my thing. I want to see Roman. I want to see Roman. Now you got Karrion Kross. Roman and Karrion Kross. I'm good to see both of them. He's like, nah, man, I want to go see Raw. Raw is lit right now. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, all right. So he's like, you okay with Karrion destroying your boy? And I'm like, he ain't about to destroy Roman. He not. He's going to have a story with Drew. Because I have a feeling that Karrion Kross is going to cost Drew McIntyre the match at Clash at the Castle. And then we're going to have a rivalry between these two. We're going to have a story between these two. There is reports that have been surfacing that USA would like an interim, and that's the reports. I don't know how true this is, but reports are saying that USA Network will like an interim heavyweight champion because they don't like Roman's part-time schedule. If you are not new to the Royal Club Wrestling Podcast, you have heard me and the Ace continuously say that the WWE Undisputed Universal Heavyweight title will be split. There is no way whatsoever that we are going to get this title not split up. I feel though as if what's going to happen is they're going to have some clause. Because if you think back to when Becky was two-time Becky. 2 belts Becky. Sorry. When she was 2 belts Becky, when they unified winner takes all match. They never, and this is even something that me and Ace said, if they were unifying the belts, if they were going to legit do this, there would be a new belt. We have not seen a new belt. Therefore, it's not going to happen. I do feel though as if they are going to split the titles up. I feel though as if the heavyweight title is going to go back to Raw. Universal title will stay on SmackDown. I feel though as if Karrion Kross will get the heavyweight title. I feel though as if Karrion Kross, if he gets the heavyweight title, if you have the roster kind of still intact like it is right now on Raw, he could have great feuds with so many different people. I mean, you got Seth Rollins, you got Bobby Lashley, you got Theory, Riddle, Randy, Ciampa, Miz, Montez Ford if he stays there, Angelo Dawkins, and who else we know? Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Edge. So many people he can feud with. Karrion Kross is brought back to this roster as a main eventer and as a champion. He will have that title soon. But we all know, in my opinion, I know there's been reports that have been surfacing rapid these past few days that WrestleMania in Hollywood is all set. Rock, Roman. Y'all know I've said this 1,000 times before. Rock versus Roman is bigger than the belt. That is family storyline. That is family storyline. Now, the Ace, I will let y'all know, the Ace did text me, and the Ace brought up an idea of Jey Uso screwing over Roman Reigns and making Roman Reigns lose the title. At first, I said, nah. Then I started to think. And I'll get to that. That's a cliffhanger for y'all. I'll let y'all know how this can incorporate The Rock. Okay? If you remember this time last year when I talked about the Roman Reigns Legends Tour, and then I brought up the idea of Rock versus Roman. Go back to the Instagram page, because it's not on this channel. I may post it on this channel though. But go back to the Instagram page. Find that video. Listen to what I had to say when I was talking about Roman Reigns and The Rock. It kind of goes hand in hand with that story. But, I feel though as if, Karrion Kross will do that. I literally had a brain fart. Sorry about that. Oh, if you don't have Rock versus Roman at Mania for the title, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns for the Universal title, it screams legacy. It screams family history. You have the Rhodes family. You have Dusty. I went down this before. You have it. You have it there. That is money. But The Rock, obviously, is box office. So, we'll just have to wait and see how this plays out. But I am glad to see that Karrion Kross is back. If you did watch Raw this past Monday, you've seen Dexter Lumis is back as well. Very interesting to see how this plays out with these people coming back. I do know that Bray Wyatt has been tweeting a lot of stuff lately, and a lot of people are kind of trying to figure out, especially with the wordplay that he was using, what does this mean? Will he come back? Is he going to AEW? Is he coming back to the WWE? I know that there was some rumblings of the reason why he left WWE is because him and Vince weren't seeing eye to eye as far as creative goes with the character. Now that Triple H is now in charge of creative, maybe that will change things. I do feel though as if he does come back, in my opinion, what better way to have him come back than to be the true leader of the Judgment Day. You know, if they stick with that, they wanted to do the supernatural stuff. What better way than have the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, come back, and now this is his group, you know? And then think about it, you know, he had a run-in with Finn, and then he can be like, I can channel the demon to come back out of for Finn. He could do some with Damian Priest. He could do some with Rhea Ripley. But if he wasn't to come back into that Judgment Day angle, I don't know how you would bring Bray back. You know, like, and what angle would he do? If he did come back and was just a Fiend without Judgment Day and had the Firefly Funhouse, can you imagine the Vince McMahon puppet? Like the digs that they will say and the stuff that Bray would do with the puppet now that is Vince, and now he might be, you know, making little shots at him. Very interesting to see if that happens, if that does take place. Speaking of digs, let's talk about AEW before I wrap this up. I look at AEW taking digs at WWE like this. You know how you can talk shit about your family, about your significant other, but you will not allow another person to talk about your significant other or your family. Like, don't you do that. I can talk shit. You can't. That's how I look at it with WWE and AEW. You know, obviously we've seen Vince McMahon. Obviously he's no longer there. And we've seen Roman take a shot at Vince. We've seen multiple people take shots at Vince or take shots at knowing that Vince McMahon is no longer there. Then if you've seen the AEW Dynamite last Wednesday, you've seen the Acclaim take a shot at Vince McMahon. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm sorry. I'm team WWE all day. You already know this. Y'all know the Aces team AEW. You don't do it. Even the Ace said that was weak. He didn't like that. You know. I also want to talk a little bit about Tony Khan because, you know, Tony, apparently there was a article, an interview that came out not too long ago where Tony Khan emphasized that he has talent that is signed until 2027. And someone who I follow brought up the ideal of whenever you can tell he's in panic mode right now. And then there's reports coming out saying that there's a lot of tension, a lot of AEW executives or a lot of AEW like the people in higher up are not happy with the antics, the behavior of one Tony Khan. And then today, I seen that the Ace on his Instagram made a stat about, or he shared on his story what Tony Khan said, in which Tony basically says this, and I quote, and this is from the Ringside's Instagram. It's actually going to pop up right here. So you're going to see the photo right here, and then I'm going to read it so y'all, you know. I can't get everybody on the show. It is challenging. In some ways, when you have 3 hours of television, I get that. If you're looking at a competitor that has 7 hours of television, the people in that company are twice as likely to be on TV if you look at it that way. Now, he is saying this, in my opinion, because I don't know the context in which this quote came from. I know he was on Busted Open earlier today. I may check it out. But if I'm just looking at that quote, I'm assuming that it's because he's heard rumbles and he's seen the tweets that people liked, and you've seen people post about certain talent. For example, Miro. There's a tweet that's out there that somebody tweeted at Tony Khan, like, we miss Miro. What are you doing? I liked Miro better in the WWE when it was Rusev Day, and we felt like he wasn't even getting pushed like that. But we still seen him. We still was getting to know, like we were still acclimated to him. Like, what is going on with this? And then there was another tweet that came out that Andrade liked. If you don't have the time to book all these people, don't sign all these damn people. You're nervous of losing. AEW is nervous of losing a lot of people now because of Triple H. Because Triple H now is in head of creative. And he's running this show. A lot of them are nervous. The number one person I think, if he left and came to WWE, would be the biggest blow to AEW is Maxwell, Jacob Friedman, MJF. And the reason I say that is because think about the last time we seen MJF on AEW television. He cut a pipe bomb. He cut a promo going at Tony Khan. Imagine seeing MJF in a WWE ring with a mic in his hand for the first time ever. And Triple H tells him, you have free range, with it being clean, to say what you want, to get your grievances off your chest. Tony Khan probably would never be able to recover from that moment right there. I don't care what you can do. You can have CM Punk do a tell-all tell. It doesn't matter. And speaking of CM Punk, let's talk about that man. Let me start by saying I am one of the biggest CM Punk fans, okay? I admire CM Punk. I feel though CM Punk will go down in history as the one person that changed the landscape of how wrestling is to this day, okay? As far as what he did, that pipe bomb promo, everything he did. But I agree with this video that I seen on TikTok where this guy basically said that he's holding AEW hostage. He is. He is holding AEW hostage. And there's no other way than better to say it. I mean, if I can find the video, the video's right here. I agree with that statement. You know, I agree what he said. I do truly feel that way. I feel those that what CM Punk did is CM Punk took advantage of this opportunity, knew how much it would captivate the wrestling world because everybody wants to see CM Punk. And now we have him. So, I mean, let's be honest. There's so many people that would probably leave and probably do what Naomi did and Sasha Banks did. More Sasha Banks, but probably do what they did. You know, not related to wrestling, but we're seeing it now in sports. Contracts are just a piece of paper. It's just a piece of paper. People get out of contracts all the time. You just got to know what button to push to get out of a contract. It's easy. I won't say it's easy because you got to go deep, you know, but that might be just it. You know, you might see people getting into some issues to make them be in breach of contract or whatever it may be and get released from their contract. You know, I know Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks turned down the WWE And I was listening to this, I was listening to Busted Open, and they brought it up, and they was like, well, what if the reason why they turned it down is because of Vince McMahon? They was fearful of Vince. Now you have someone in charge that you know is a student of the game, who is bringing back prestige and allowing opportunities. That's Mustafa Ali tweeted. Opportunity. Triple H is giving people opportunities to showcase their talent, to showcase how great they are in the ring. Look at Ciampa. Don't be surprised if Gargano comes back within the next couple weeks. Okay? Triple H is doing a phenomenal job. 3 weeks in, phenomenal job. And there's more to come. There's more to come. I don't know exactly if he is in charge of NXT. I did check out NXT yesterday. If you haven't checked out the audio-only edition of Royal Club Wrestling Podcast, go check that out. The latest episode, which was hosted by the ace that runs the place, he did do an NXT take. He gave y'all his opinion on why he just is not feeling NXT 2.0. And I agree with him. I listened to that. I listened to his take. I watched NXT. I understand where he's coming from. I understand the kiddie promos, the weird promos. Like, it's not what we're used to, and I don't think it's for the good. But if you haven't checked that out, make sure you go check that out and support for the ace that runs the place. But I am done. This is it for me. I've given y'all about an hour and 20 minutes, give or take. But I do want to thank y'all for tuning in, for locking in. If you like this video, make sure that you hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to this page already, make sure you subscribe. And if you have subscribed and you have not yet, hit that notification bell to be up to date with the latest videos that I will be releasing. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Make sure you also follow Royal Club Wrestling Podcast on Instagram at RCW_podcast. That is where you're going to get more news from us. You know, we're going to, give our quick opinion on the stuff that's going on in the wrestling world, but y'all will hear more of it on the RCW, the Royal Club Wrestling Podcast. Like I said earlier, I did throw that out there. Season 7. Cannot believe we are 7 seasons in to the Royal Club Wrestling Podcast. I appreciate it greatly. This is something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to talk about wrestling, as you can tell, and Ace says it all the time. A lot of people say it about me personally. My passion for this business is deep. Like, y'all can see it, y'all can hear it in my voice, y'all can hear when I'm talking about it, just how much I'm investing in it. I've been watching wrestling since I was 5 years old, and I'm just excited, mainly WWE or WWF at the time, but I'm excited for what's going on. Season 7 will be coming out real soon. My mentor walked in a little while ago, and we did have a quick conversation. That's why there's like this. Y'all might see that it got cut a little bit, but that's okay. But we will be coming back. I did tell y'all the studio. I'm in the studio right now. The studio looks amazing. I can't wait for y'all to see the setup. I cannot wait for y'all to see this, man. What I have planned and the ideas and everything, man, is going to be something. It's going to be something different. What I'm trying to do with Royal Club, what me and the Ace is trying to do with Royal Club, let me say that, is something different. A different type of feel when you're watching a wrestling podcast, a wrestling podcast show, because that's what I'm kind of trying to create this into. So with all that being said, man, I appreciate the love. Make sure, like I said, make sure you like, subscribe, get that notification bell. Let me know what y'all think about what I had to state in the comments. I do interact with the people in the comments It is me. It ain't nobody else. No one's behind the keyboard replying to y'all. It is me that's replying to y'all. So, with all that being said, man, I'm out. Be safe, be well, and continue to enjoy wrestling, continue to watch wrestling, and stop being so damn divided. And this is coming from someone that just butchered and just attacked AEW. But, I watch it with an open mind, but when I see that there's a problem, I go there. I express my problems. But what I'm noticing is that there's a lot of division in this business, in this fandom. Let's just enjoy wrestling. We can agree to disagree. But the way the wrestling community is, man, oof, it's pretty intense. So I'm out, man. Love.